Guys, I am so sorry. I'm still trying to figure out this YouTube thing. So, any of you are very knowledgeable on YouTube live feeds. So, I scheduled the live feed, but then I can't access the live feed to go live. So, I've been having to. Sorry, guys. I'm doing this from my phone because I'm having so many issues. Um, I'm having to delete the scheduled post and then create a new one. Which, I mean, it's no bother to me, but I know people, they set reminders for the live videos. So I hate that it's bothersome possibly to them. So yeah. All right. So one thing we're gonna talk about right now is going to be the what is a modular. And if I'm looking off to the distance, let me actually go this way, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be looking at my screen, so that way I can answer any questions that you guys are going to put up. So let me go ahead and get that ready. So we've been getting a lot of requests for modular homes, and then when we end up calling, and those who pick up, which we talked about last week, we kind of get it into a conversation about what they think is a modular and what reality really is as far as what a modular comes to be. So a modular here, as far as what we build at the Fort Worth facility, it looks no different than that of a manufactured home. A modular is built to the same code that a traditional on-site built home is built to, which is the International Residential Code. I believe we're using 2015 right now, as well as the Energy Conservation Code of 2015. So look-wise, it's exactly the same. So typically when we get a modular request, most people are looking for something that looks more like a traditional site-built home, not a manufactured look. So we let them know that we don't have that aesthetic look. We do not bring out and raise the roof. We don't set the home on a stem wall. We don't do those different things. Just because it's built to modular doesn't mean that it's going to sit on a slab and it's going to be low to the ground. None of that really differs between a manufactured home or a modular home as far as what's being offered. We can actually do something what's called a ground set for both modular and manufactured. It all just comes down to cost. So basically, imagine this paper is a plane of dirt. So in order for us to do a ground set, we're going to bring an excavator and we're going to dig out. So once we dig out, basically what's going to be left over is kind of like if you've ever been to a receiving yard and they have the semi trucks and you see the ramps, how they go down at an angle and then back into where they're going to get loaded. Kind of looks like this. That look there. That's the exact same thing that's going to happen. We're going to bring the manufactured home in, roll it in, and then we're going to go ahead and build your stem wall or weight bearing wall upwards, and it's going to have probably like a 2-inch gap where we put actually a ceiling treated board in between your frame and the stem wall or the weight bearing wall. So that way, what we do, we end up getting a house cat, or I'm sorry, one of those bobcats, or a little small excavator, and we're going to push dirt back up into the house just like you would on a traditional home where you have grading and then you have like a 6-inch grade above that. We have to follow those exact same codes whether we're doing a manufactured home or a modular home when we're ground setting the unit. So the big cost is because we're using a weight bearing wall that we have to put in place. The last one I've done has been over 10 years ago. and it was like a $15 to $20,000 option to do. So I'm sure it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive than that to do that, but you can at least have that same effect that it's actually grade level and not elevated up. Things that I've seen customers do to not have to spend that huge amount of money is that they actually allow the an excavation team come in and build the grade up just like you would see on a traditional home, and then flatten everything out and have it kind of roll away to have drainage. So the minimum level or height that we can do a manufactured home is that from the ground to the chassis has to be 24 inches. And then obviously our is 12 inches. So really you're going to have about a 3 foot height elevation when you set your manufactured or modular home. So on a modular home, not only is it built to the same codes as a site-built home, but it also appraises and sells as one. It's real property. It doesn't have a title to it. So depending on which state that you live at, some states they give you what's called a statement of landing, basically stating where the home is at. And then other places actually give you like a car tag and plates for your home, letting you know that, hey, this home is movable. Okay, because even if you were to take a manufactured home and make it real property, after you pay off your loan, let's say you're financing, you can actually, sorry about that, you can actually then sell the unit by itself by unaffixing it from the real property. So let's say that you came across some money, you saved up, and now you want to actually build a house versus having a manufactured home on there, and you want to go ahead and sell your unit, you can, because it will have a title specific to just the home itself because it's unaffixed. It's no longer real property, it's personal property, the same way as a car or a quad or some kind of toy on there. On a modular, you don't have that ability. It's either you got to sell it with land, or that home has to be sold as a utility building and can never be used as a residential home any longer. It is part of their part of the land. It's just like if you were going to site build it. And that's why it appraises against site built homes. That's why it creates a higher value in resale compared to a manufactured home, just because it's considered more permanent and real. Building wise, as far as construction, yes, a modular home is a lot more stout in construction than a manufactured home, but we can build the manufactured home to have basically those same things, like the 2x6 exterior walls, the higher insulation package of a home, the upgraded wiring throughout the house, adding hose bibs and GFIs, all that stuff we can do in the manufactured end. So there's no difference as far as the construction process. It's just a building code and then somebody signing off that this home is considered, it was built to either the federal code, which is HUD, which all manufactured homes are built to, or if it was built to the local international residential code, qualifying it as a modular and making it a permanent structure versus a movable structure. So that is really the difference between a modular and a manufactured home as far as Palm Harbor goes. Texas. Now, obviously we are under the CAFCO family, and we have many other sister companies that build phenomenal modular housing that surpasses what you would find out in regular stick-built homes. Nationwide Homes, covers our eastern shore of the United States. Commodore, we have Destiny, CAFCO out of Arizona. We have our Palm Harbor out of Oregon. All those facilities there, they have the ability to do like 2 stories. They have the ability to do bigger roof pitches, just because they're newer facilities compared to the facilities that we have now. And that's really the difference. It isn't that we don't have the skill set here. It's just that our factory is a lot more seasoned. That's the new word my kids gave me, is seasoned instead of being called old. So I will take it. So they're older facilities, so they don't have the same ceiling heights. That's kind of what restricts us to 8.5 ceilings versus 9.5 that you would find typically out of our West Coast facilities there. Same thing with the ability to do on a constant hard surface countertops, even having like our Durabuild systems for our cabinetry. Those newer facilities are just more equipped with newer technologies compared to what we have now. So that's really the differences between the two. So if you're watching us from the East Coast, Nationwide Custom Homes is who you want to take a look at if you're looking for that super high-end modular, makes it look like a traditional on-site built home. Now, Destiny does it as well. Commodore does it as well. Commodore is really kind of like the Midwest areas. So that's who you want to take a look at. And then Destiny Homes does the southern states, with the exception of Florida. Florida is handled by Palm Harbor Homes out of Plant City, and they build some gorgeous houses out of that facility there. So Texas handles Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico, and parts of Arizona. Oh, hi, Silver. What part of Texas are you from? Our Arizona plants cover the Pacific Northwest, also the Southwest, which is Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Oregon, Washington, and I believe that's all the areas that they cover there. So we have facilities kind of all over the U.S. to be able to try to offer some kind of manufactured or modular home for you. So last Thursday, we did about an hour. Basically, this will take as long as you guys want me to be on here to answer questions. Now, I do have to disclose any pricing that I give you is only based out of what I can do for you. I do have to be careful when it comes to it because, one, I do not want you guys to leave one of my retail stores if you have a current contract with them. So it is super important for me to disclose if you have a current working contract and deposit with one of our retail stores, that you work with them. The big difference between pricing between me and them is really the support end of things. Last week I was pretty upfront about how our process works here. It's just me. I handle you from the meet and greet when you come in all the way to you receiving your keys. I help you with financing, coordination, ordering your house, all those things. So there's not multiple of people that I have to pay in order for you to get top service. So we're a little bit more stingy. I hate saying it that way, on who we actually will select to work with us. We really want people who, one, are looking for a deal, and two, that are willing to work with us versus handing all the work to us, because it's just me. As we're our retail stores, you're going to get a lot more support than you would here, and that it's kind of like a positive here, negative here, negative here. So it's just a wash. It just kind of depends what kind of experience you want to have on there. So if whatever reason you're unsatisfied with the pricing that you have on your current home or even service, and you have a contract with one of the retail locations, go straight to management and have them take care of you. Our hopes is that they can salvage any expectations they didn't meet and rise up kind of going from there. So it's a kind of a fine line that I need to a fine line I need to walk on that, so I don't get myself in trouble. Being here for 17 years, I do value the policies that Palm Harbor has in place. It protects me, it protects you, and it protects all the other Palm Harbors as well. So, all right, so you're up north, close to the Oklahoma border. Ooh, the vintage farmhouse too with the flex room. That is a gorgeous house. I want to say back in October, we did a live video feed of that home there, and it did have the dual master on it. I'm not sure if you're looking for the dual master. Let me open up another window here. I'm gonna try to find that link for you so that way you don't have to go down and search for it. That way you can take a look at it. Now, when the video starts, it's really, really loud because, as you know, most of our retail stores are located right off of major highways. Once I go inside the house, it is quiet as can be. So, vintage farmhouse, for those that don't know that home, what's really great about it is that it is a completely packaged home. So really 99% of what you're seeing is what comes with that home. Um, in comparison, so let's say like the Lobel, which is another popular home that we actually offer. You know, let's say that price of that home is $286,000, and then you go as a starting point, but then you see it on the internet, you go out and see it in person, and then once you go through all the options, you find out, oh, this home has $36,000 in options. Then it gets like, man, I can't have what I'm really wanting. So it's kind of a downer. So when we created the vintage farmhouse or the Somerset or the urban homestead, our concept was like, hey, if we can bring out a product that's super beautiful and very well colored coordinated, it should keep people from wanting to customize our home. And then production runs a lot smoother. So what we are willing to do to let production run smoother is that let's add $18,000 worth of what would be upgrades on our other homes and make it standard in this home, built it in, and still give price reduction to it to make it a heavy producing home. And that's exactly what the vintage farmhouse has done for our company, as well as the Somerset and the urban homestead. So I myself have also looked at the vintage farmhouse as a home for my family and I. I think the flex option gives you so much more ability and not only looks and style, but also function in the house. So for an instance, in my household, we homeschool. So that flex room versus being another living room would be our classroom, which is that flex room is huge. So it'd be plenty big. But turning that into the classroom, and then you have the what I love about the vintage, and you can let me know if these things are some of the things you like, is that everything has its place. Unlike most homes that are kind of sectioned off, they there you can't really see throughout the house. But the vintage farmhouse, even though it's not an open floor plan, it feels like it. So like if you have family that's over, you have full control of your household. I can tell you my parents would have loved raising us kids in this home here. I always tell everybody I was a very ruckus kid. In our heritage, we talk about that our parents would not use belts. They would use basically a flip flop, or which we would call the chancla. In that house, you can definitely throw the chancla and get a kid straight on there. But it's a gorgeous, gorgeous home. The estate farmhouse. Is that one out of Florida there, Mary? I'm not too familiar with the estate farmhouse. But I know our Oregon plant and our Florida plant, they produce some gorgeous, gorgeous homes. Sorry about the lighting as well. Let's see here. So since we're talking about the vintage farmhouse, I have my little nifty book here that tells me what we have available and what pricing is. So for those that do not have a contract and not working with any other location, the pricing that I'm about to disclose includes normal delivery and setup. It includes AC, vinyl skirting, and steps to the home. That's within basically 250 miles of the Fort Worth area. This home is available for New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. So the Vintage Farmhouse 2 Flex model, which is a 47 in width, 47 feet in width, 76 feet in length, with 2,674 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, has a starting price of $274,799. Our current build time for a custom order right now is about 8 months. That's so they can get it through the backlog, and it only takes, if you had to guess, before I tell you, what would you guess is the actual build time of a manufactured home from start to finish through the factory once they actually start it? I will wait about 30 seconds to see if someone can respond. Can you hear me? For whatever reason, they shut me down. They knew I was getting ready to give out prices. So it looks like we're back on. Thank you so much for waiting for our internet to come back on. So to answer the question, our backlog is actually 6 months or 8 months right now from Austin. Our Fort Worth facility is only 6 months out of backlog. The backlog means there's just that many amount of homes ahead of yours right now. So it's literally 6 months worth of homes ahead of you. Once your home is ready to be built, it takes less than 5 days to build that home. So literally day one, your chassis, your subfloor, your flooring, your walls, your rafter, your air vents, your electrical, your plumbing, all of that gets started on day one. By the time day one is over, they're getting ready to actually attach all the walls to the home itself. Day number 2, it's literally like putting a puzzle together. They are just putting it all together. So by the end of day number 2, they're already leading the house into final finishing and function, where they're going to go ahead and do texture, painting, hang cabinets, put the bathroom fixtures in. They start testing all your electrical plan and so forth on there. So by the end of the 3rd day, if they're not done with the home, they'll have it basically ready to go into what we call function testing. This is where they do all the inspections so it can pass HUD policies. Palm Harbor has a certified HUD inspector that inspects every single one of our homes. Now that is not required through HUD, but it's just reassurance from our end to you that your home is built to those codes. Same thing with the modular. There is someone here that's certified in IRC to ensure that the home is built to that. Plus, once your home gets out to the property, there's another inspector that goes out. So kind of going from there. But the actual build time, once you get past the backlog, is 5 days or less. And it doesn't matter if it's a single wide or a triple wide, same amount of time to build one. It's all a system. So yeah, as of right now, I'm the only person doing videos that I know of on YouTube for our company that's direct at the factory. So I'm lucky that I'm here at the factory and I have the opportunity to go out, walk through it, Um, I don't mind looking at myself. I'm not the best looking guy, but I don't mind looking at myself. Just joking. Um, that's a crazy story. My wife, she talks about how I like doing videos, and I tell her it's a big challenge because I'm very subconscious about a couple things, especially like the way I speak. I have kind of like a dead lip here. Uh, I had fallen and lost all the nerves in this lip here, so now it doesn't move, and then so it always just kind of really bugs me, uh, kind of going from there. But um, let's see here. So 8 months from start to move in. No, that it's just 8 months to get ready to build your home. Silver, you have some excellent questions. Okay, so it it's 8 months to get through the backlog, 5 days to build. Typically, we can deliver your home, weather permitting, within 2 to 3 days from the time that it's actually cleared to function. Once your home is taken out to your property and put together, it's going to take about, I don't like using business days, so I'm going to give you actually calendar days. Um, our policy says that we have up to 45 calendar days to finish the interior piece of your home. And there is times that literally it takes up to that amount of time, especially with the environment that we're in right now, with some people calling out sick due to serious stuff. So that our contractors or our technicians that are actually finishing the home from the factory, they're being stretched out as much as they can to try to complete those homes. Now there is some time where one of them may be coming back and it's like, hey, we have a house, and they can get in within 2 weeks and finish up. Once the technician's typically in your home, it takes about 7 to 10 days for them to finish the interior piece of the house. Now, it's important to us because we want you to be able to do a walkthrough of your home, and we can make sure that we meet the expectations of what you're buying. You'll get to go through, mark off anything that it doesn't seem correct. And that way they can notate it. So I let everybody know when you're doing your walkthrough, it's okay for you to point everything out because you only get one cosmetic warranty, and that's the time of the trim out. So if you do not pick up a stress crack for whatever reason, the likelihood of the factory coming back to fix that is going to be very low because you signed off on the home. So be diligent. Go through, check the electrical of every plug. When I bought my single wide from our facility in Waco, I did the exact same thing, and I preach this to every single customer that buys from me. The factories, do they get annoyed by it? Sure, but that's what they're there for. They don't mind. They just get a little annoyed sometimes because they're like, here's another customer by Jeff Anthony. We already know what to expect. So, and I'm in no way am I down talking them in any way. They're great people, but it's super important that you notate everything, put it on record, so that way we can live up to that expectation. And like I mentioned last week, anything that's promised to you, put it in writing. That way, legality wise, you're protected all the way. So let's see here. Silver, were you able to get the price? I want to make sure that I didn't go off the internet before you got your price on that vintage farmhouse to Flex. Such a beautiful home. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very self-conscious about it, and then also the gap, the gap in my teeth. So on there, but the good thing is I don't take myself too seriously. So Oh, great, you got the price. Awesome. Is there any other things that you would like to know about the home itself? Be happy to answer it for you. Yes, cash is king. Is there a discount for cash buyers? Um, the answer is always yes. So, what's a little bit different is that we're truly trying to give everyone the best opportunity to buy a home at a low price. So when I was the GM at one of our retail locations, we used to give very heavy discounts for cash buyers versus going through financing, just because there's not much of a wait. So here at the factory, we're really just focused on units itself. So we want to give you the best price and move forward. So really what I want to let those that don't have the opportunity to pay cash to understand that you have an opportunity to save money like you are paying cash. But cash buyers, yes, you will get a discount. Oh, you're very welcome. And truly, I love doing these videos for you guys as a consumer, um, because the more I can disclose to you, the better informed you are, and you can choose to purchase from Palm Harbor or not. But at least that way, it's based on real fact and not just someone giving you a spiel to take money from you and then not deliver. It's myself, I used to be that kind of salesperson when I first started with this company, and I got humbled very quickly. Um, I shared last week about my experience, how I got taken advantage of, and how bad that experience was, and I just don't want anyone to ever have to go through that. So I got to feel what it was like, and so I've made a promise to myself and to those who I'm marketing to, and to the ones that I speak to, that I can be upfront. And it's okay if you choose not to purchase from me. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Um, yes, this is the way I make a living, but I know just by the approach I take and the information I provide, I will be able to sell homes. Somebody will buy from me, but I just want to make sure that I put it out there. And sometimes I understand people are going to get frustrated and angry at the situation, or even with me, because sometimes what I'm saying is kind of contradicts what other people are saying. But I just tell everybody, just look at my structure of work. My work speaks for itself, where you can you can make a pretty um, good discerning decision on who's telling you the right thing. So kind of going from there. So um, just some general news of what's going on here at the factory center. We recently just sold our Horizon 56 model. We have a Fantasy Island. It's not a brand new home, but it's been kind of redone. That house will be coming offline next week. That home will actually be. I'm gonna wait a week before I set that home, because I know there's such a high need for housing right now that I'm gonna wait before I put it together, in case somebody wants to purchase that home, that they have an opportunity to take it. Because once I put my house together, I have to commit to having that home, and spending the money to put it together, furnishing it, connecting electric and water. So all those things I don't write off. I charge it to every single customer. And when we sell our models, typically when we used to sell our models, we knew that in a year the model was going to go up at least $10,000. So when it came time to selling the home, we weren't really giving you a discount. We were just selling you for the cost that we bought the home. So we were able to expense those on there and make it feel like you were getting a discount. So I'm telling you, I'm gonna end up walking to my car and I'm gonna get beat up, because I'm giving away these secrets that you guys already know. But at least this way you're hearing it from the horse's mouth of our of our sales tactics. So kind of going from there. So I'll have the Fantasy Island. I also have a my Horizon 76 home has been sold, but I do have one on order. I also have a Horizon 48 on order and the Land Race on order. Now, what I am able to do, as long as some of those homes are still further out than 60 days, if you buy one of those homes that is built here, I can swap the purchase order. So let's say that you wanted to buy a Magnum. Ooh, the Magnum. I just found out there's a Magnum coming off in 2 weeks. It is fully loaded. Um, we no longer build a 34 wide, but it's a 32 wide by 76 feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, 2 bathrooms. I mean, this gorgeous house. We have that for sale. My website, fortworth.palmharbor.com. I just loaded the information on there. It has the order details. I don't want to mess with my computer because we've been lagging. So the more work I do, the less useful this content is. So, but we do have one of those available. But let's say that you wanted a custom order any house. I know my Horizon 76 isn't coming out until May, so we got plenty of time. Let's say that you wanted that Magnum. I can then take your custom order and put it in that place and move the Land Race back. So that way you can get in sooner to your home, just because no one's committed. Now, if someone comes in and purchases the Horizon 76, then they're locked in for that. But at least this gives me some leeway to make room. And because what I have on back order, as you notice, was a 48, a 56, and a 76, which are the 3 sizes that are constantly being built. So I can swap them out. So. Oh, that is the new Magnum better than the vintage farmhouse? That is that it depends. It depends what you like. So the Magnum is huge. The Flex, I would take the Flex over the big Magnum. I would personally, just for the homeroom option. That's just me personally speaking. Now, if we didn't homeschool, I would probably take the Magnum over the vintage farmhouse. It has a huge family room in the back. It's still a 4 bedroom. Also, it has the ability to have a small family room versus the large family room, and turning that into a 4 bedroom, 3 bath option, which the vintage doesn't have, unless you turn one of those rooms into the dual master. Then you have that. But without having to do a dual master and still keep the same amount of bedrooms, the Magnum is more versatile than the vintage farmhouse. So let me see. Hopefully it doesn't slow me down. It bugs me that I didn't give you a price on that home. So give me a quick second. Okay, so the 3276 Magnum that we have coming offline at the end of this month, I have it priced at $246,999, which includes, like I mentioned earlier, delivery, setup, the drainage pad, the AC, and on this one, part of the promotion, wood skirting to be part of the home within 250 miles of our Fort Worth factory. If you go to fortworth.palmharbor.com and you go down to hot this week, I actually loaded the floor plan on there for you. I actually placed the home order for you. That way you can see what colors they are. You can see basically every single option that we placed on the Magnum for you. So as far as content wise, I'm always trying to provide you as much information as possible for you to make a sound decision on your next home. So here at the factory, I do have some display models, but I typically like to use the inspection area because in the inspection area, I always have a Horizon 48. a Horizon 56, a Magnum, and then now the Fantasy Islands. So I constantly have those 4 homes here. Our retail locations, so like our factory, we have 20 something acres, but it's all the building unit and parking lot. So I don't really have an area for display like our retail centers, where they have 20 or 10 acres to put out display models. So our locations like in Denton, Jacksboro Highway, here in Fort Worth, or Burleson, or those locations, they're going to have a lot more homes for you to view than I will. So typically, when I'm talking with people and they don't have contracts and deposits with people, I typically tell them, hey, go stop at every single Palm Harbor, don't leave them money, and then come back here and get the savings. Kind of going from there. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a ton of homes to view. But the one thing I do have that they don't is the actual building center. So you can go in, see every piece of material that we build, how we build it. There's no hiding anything. So that's the one thing you can't see once the home is built and put together. We can only talk about it and have you imagine what that means, but here you get to physically walk through and take a look at it. Mario, great question. Benefits of a modular. One is in case the property that you own or the property that you're looking at is owned specifically not to have manufactured homes, the modular would be allowed in there because it's built to the same code a site-built home is. Now, they may get nifty and come up with some construction requirements for aesthetic looks that then will keep you from being able to put a modular in there. But typically one benefit is that you are able to put a modular in city areas where it's zoned specifically for traditional site-built homes. You'd be able to do that. Now, master plan communities, that's a whole different thing. That's a builder, they bought the land, they're putting their homes on there. But just a typical city lot that's empty, typically you would be able to put a modular home in there. Other benefits is resale. Your rate of return typically is higher on a modular home because it is being compared to a traditional house versus a manufactured home. So your value is a lot higher when you go to sell it. You also get a discount on the rate for financing. Typically, it's somewhere about a quarter less in your rate. So for an example, let's say that you get approved for 3.75 on a manufactured home, you would get 3.5% on the modular. So you get some benefit there. Other benefit, step out the building. I won't have pricing available on me, but I'll be able to still answer some of your questions. I'm gonna try to go and sit down in my car to answer your questions. Wow, they're so nice. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to lock up. But just to go back to answering the questions regarding the modular, the benefits of. All right, let's see how it does. Okay, this is what I'll do moving forward. When we do these Friday ones, I'm gonna do it from my home office versus here at the office. I have better internet out there, so we won't get this lagging that we're getting now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and end this week's live video. Thank you for coming on. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is G as in general, M as in manager, 088@palmharbor.com. I will be off on Monday, so I'll be back on Tuesday. But if you email me, I'm constantly on my email, so I will respond back to you. And then you can also go to our website, Palm Harbor. I'm sorry, that one's for everybody. I want you to come to mine. So my website to look at homes is fortworth.palmharbor.com, or our second page, which is Fort Worth www.palmharborhomes.com. The palmharborhomes.com page is more informative. You're actually got more pictures, more virtual tours. It's a lot easier to use. But my old site, the very first one I gave you, that one has a lot more pricing details because I actually have full control of that one, where the other one's a third party one. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the questions. I promise next week will be a lot better video. If you have any suggestions or ideas of our opening topic, please let me know. Typically, I would like 48 hours so I can put something together for you. Hopefully by next week, I will learn how to use a streaming network where I can actually use my green screen to bring up images and information for you guys to be able to look at. I'm always trying to create better content for you that's more informative itself. One, because I love my company, I love what we do, I believe 100% in the homes that we build, and I want to make sure that I can share that kind of information over to you, so that way when you get ready to purchase a home, you come see me here at the factory or another store that's near you, but come see me. I may not be the best looking, but I got the best prices. I always appreciate you guys every single time you tune in. Be safe. Deep down in my heart, I really love you guys, and have a good weekend. God bless.